We control the horizontal. We control the vertical. We control the hue and the contrast. You have now entered a zone, not just any zone, but the carbonation zone. Sit back and prepare to reach the outer limits.
Right, Judge, before I call if inclined to, I just wanted to put a few things for clarification that I was not the attorney at the time of the first bond hearing. So I would argue that things have changed, at least in the perception of when I received the case and from what I learned from the first previous bond.
Judge, I just took this shit over. Like, you know what I'm saying? He didn't even think he was going to go this far, Judge. Basically, this motherfucker is guilty as a motherfucker, but I'm going to get this money and we're going to do what we got to do for the public. You know what I'm saying? It's an election year. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, this nigga ain't shit, but I can't tell you that, Judge, directly. But we just going to go through the motions and I'm just going to speak my piece.
Before then, I would just want to address the first issue, which would have nothing to do with the witnesses, which would be the flight risk. I see it stated that there was an FTA. In that FTA, I believe that case was ultimately finished. The Hawaii situation was brought up before Your Honor, and I believe that was in 2020. My understanding is that was during a COVID protocol. And the reason that became such a big issue was because the amount of people who were active with him and which they perceived to be a cult.
What I'm going to do now, Judge, is just lie straight to your face. I'm going to look dead into the camera. Unlike the co-leader, I can look directly into your eyes and lie straight to your face because most of us are professional liars in this profession. Now, when he went to Hawaii, he touched the sacred turtle on camera, which is a direct insult and a violation to the culture of Hawaii. Plus, they lied about their address and didn't wear a mask.
In which this is what Mr. Bishop and has been known as for a spiritual teaching. He is perceived to have went to school to be an ordained minister, in which his teachings have been followed by Netflix, BBC, Discovery, Spotify, and Apple, all in which people have given him contracts. These are people who have followed his documentary for his spiritual teaching and his teaching evolving around promoting a healthier eating.
Okay, Judge, from this point on, I think it's only fair to inform you that I'm going to pour on layers and layers and stacks of bullshit on top of bullshit. There were documentaries and stuff made about him, but none of them was positive. BBC Canada went on a long search for him. He refused to interview, etc., etc. Judge, this man is dangerous, but he still needs to be out on bond.
And promoting a healthier lifestyle. And as far as the names of the nature boy, which will follow into the character of who he is, and then Mr. Bishop himself. I will be giving you more so about Mr. Bishop himself. Now, those things of the allegations of videos I did not see or was not present, but I would think that Netflix and these people who have paid him thousands and thousands of dollars to document and to film him, not just his recordings, but the recordings themselves of their production, would not be pushing out any type of violence or any type of following of someone who will be doing so much to the far right of the perspective of being some bad things there.
Well, basically, Judge, I just took some small facts and expanded them into big inflamed facts. But Nature Boy is known to have turned down some offers here and there. Of course, he would omit any violent videos or anything like that, even though every time he go live, people record him, so there's evidence of bad behavior. But we're just going to ignore that and just assume that he was very popular and in demand by these major companies.
So I would keep that into consideration about the following and the use of the word cult. That this is a spiritual teaching to promote healthy eating, a healthy lifestyle, and a spiritual being about itself. And the reason that he has been in those places was to promote those things. Some people may consider them to be a distraction to the world or the the laws that has been there in which he has been told to leave. And if it was so, he would pack up his stuff and go. And in that process of actually having followers going back to set up places for him to reside or live at, I would disagree with that. What happened is if he goes to Mexico or Costa Rica and those places, when he is asked to leave, there are people who decide to follow him and come with him legally over to the States to continue to follow it. And after this pickup of the charges, these people have now resorted back home, in which he was allowed. He basically, told them, you can go home and after I fight this case.
Judge, let me be honest with you. Even though people have been brainwashed, beaten, threatened, and blackmailed, people had a choice to leave. And once they saw their leader get indicted or arrested or detained, some of them woke up and went home, or they tried to escape and they saw opportunity to leave without prosecution. But we can ignore that fact. He really is a decent man, Judge.
You can get ahead and go home, and these people now have went back home, but they have remained loyal to the teachings of Mr. Bishop. And that's what we have here, not more so of setting up places to abscond. And to refute that, what I would ask for is simple, a 24-hour curfew, an ankle monitor. There's plenty of things that the county of DeKalb could put into place.
Well, Judge, I'm going to have to go outside in nature to respond also to the fact that he has publicly shown his disdain and lack of respect for government, for rules and laws. He wants to abide by his own rules and laws, the laws of nature as he perceives it. So, Judge, I totally get it if you don't want to give him a bond, but I'm going to try anyway because I'm getting paid for this to the best of my ability.
That will assure him that he will be here. I'm not too sure of his passport status, but he is more than willing to give up his passport. And more than willing to put himself on a 24-hour ankle monitor, but for the release of him to be able to work, in which he has 2 jobs that will be outside of any type of social media, any type of documentaries that he has actual working in the county here, which would be a barbershop that he has opened up. He is a certified barber, and he has a landscaping business that he has running by close family members and friends that he would be able to go to.
Your Honor, basically, this man has been making a living off of a history of lies, a plethora of lies. And basically, his code is a lying university. You can go to his code and become one of the greatest liars of all times. And he has other people that's willing to lie on his behalf. And his barber license hasn't been renewed, nor does he has a business license for landscaping. But I'm going to run that by you anyway.
So that I would assume that to be satisfactory for his risk or flight risk. And he has been resident here in DeKalb County since at least dating back to 2014. So I'll present to you that he's not a flight.
Your Honor, I must be transparent. I am here to insult your intelligence, not only your intelligence, but the future intelligence of the juror, the grand jury, anybody involved in this case, anybody who's weak enough or simple-minded enough to believe a word that I have to say. But today, Your Honor, I have a job to do. And yes, he had a address in DeKalb County since 2014, but it was just a mailing address so he could continue with his fraud activities of money trafficking or money laundering or false claims, welfare, military disability, PPP, all the things above, But, Your Honor, we're just going to ignore that fact and just say that, my client is not a violent criminal. He doesn't have any violent convictions. He never committed murder. Can you please consider him for a bond? Ain't too much that I haven't did except walk across the desert.